What happened to you out in the desert?
It's a powder keg over there, and that maniac has already lit the fuse. One person against a god of war.
We know there's something in the desert that will help us turn the tide against Balthazar.
So, will this be your first god fight?
Yeah. You?
The Elder Dragons will die by my hands. And their power will become my power. I fear he may get the weapon. If he does, the consequences will be unpredictable. We gonna kill a god or what?
We cannot defeat him on our own.
There's no coming back. We must strike now.
The gods have abandoned this world.
No more running, Balthazar! Face me!
Hello everyone! I know that I'm a little late for this video, but I wanted to give myself some time to not feel rushed. Nevertheless, the second expansion for Guild Wars 2, Path of Fire, has recently turned 1 year old. Time is flying by at unprecedented speeds. For this particular video, I'd like to discuss how Path of Fire is holding up after 1 year of being on the market and give a little bit of a review. Hopefully this video will be useful to those who might be questioning whether or not they want to buy this expansion, and if there are players who already play Path of Fire watching this, I hope you find this entertaining either to watch or to listen to in the background while you yourself play Path of Fire. I'll be covering this in the format of story and living world, profession gameplay / balance updates, the open world experience, raids and fractals, structured PvP in World vs. World, and finally, music. So, in order to reach all these topics, let's get started. The general basis of the Path of Fire story goes something like this: to prevent the human god Balthazar from destroying the Elder Dragon Kralkatorrik. The story arc will lead the player character through various regions of the Crystal Desert in an effort to track down Balthazar, assist in domestic plights, and gain a deeper understanding of the role Aurene has in the grand scheme of Tyria. The characters involved with the story include Casimir, Ritlock, Canuck, Balthazar, and Aurene, and of course the player character. Casimir struggles to come to terms with her lifelong devotion to the gods, Ritlock is eager to hunt dragons, and Canuck wants to earn money and blow things up. Aurene, our new dragon friend who hatched back in Living World Season 3, is now put center stage, and the journey to fulfill her mother's prophecy is kicked off. Blatantly put, this story presents moments of despair, rage, and joy throughout the 3 acts. The replayability of the story stands firm, as by completing achievements will grant players powerful pieces of equipment. Not all achievements are a cakewalk, so for players who are looking for an optional challenge, you'll be more than satisfied. As for the Living World seasons, the game is currently on Season 4. After the threat of Balthazar is dealt with, the focus turned towards the rampaging Elder Dragon and the undead Lich Palawajoko. Living World Season 4 has brought some of the highest quality storytelling the world of Tyria has ever displayed, with the clever use of momentous events occurring outside of cutscenes and deeper, pinnacle moments occurring in beautifully animated cutscenes. Season 4 hasn't even come to a close, but soon after its finale, Season 5 will be streamed into the game. The Living World is a great method of importing free story updates into the game, and additionally brings new systems and features of gameplay. With Pathfire, a second batch of elite specializations were slotted into the game. Each profession has the ability to further specialize into a role, and if you also have the first expansion, Heart of Thorns, you now have 2 elite specializations to choose from, further enhancing customization. As for the balance of the overall game, while this tends to be a bit more subjective, some individuals are content with the current status of balance, while others are not. Personally speaking, I find the current balance to be quite nice and, well, balanced. Of course, there will always be a few skills or mechanics that are underwhelming or overpowered, but that's unavoidable pretty much. In regards to the frequency of balance updates, ArenaNet was given heavy feedback early in the year for having their balance patches too spread out. The community believed that flow was too slow, and if a certain skill was overpowered, it would remain overpowered for about 4 months. Learning from this, ArenaNet's past few balance patches have been more timely. There is no longer a tremendous wait time in between them. To further highlight this point, ArenaNet has recently taken it upon themselves to revamp certain professions and elite specializations as a whole in order to keep them to modern standards. For players who come from the maps of Heart of Thorns, the lack of map-wide meta events may be jarring or make it appear that the maps lack meta events. Truthfully, the maps do have meta events, perhaps not to the scale of Heart of Thorns, but they are present. Some extra work of going to find them is required for some events, but there are some events that are less shy and advertise themselves more proudly. The rewards that accompany Pathfire meta events are heavily scrutinized. The rewards for doing these events are seen as lackluster and not fitting, when compared to the amount of effort which is required to complete meta events. The real lure of Pathfire's open world is the sense of exploration. The zones are huge, and with the addition of mount masteries, it makes the feeling of exploration even more satisfying. The zones, likewise, excel at delivering story throughout the use of ambient NPCs and their dialogue, creating a sense of a lively world. Raids and Fractals are forms of endgame PvE game modes. Raids and Fractals are also said to be on the same release cadence as Living World episodes, switching off with each other for each release. Meaning if one episode includes a raid, the next episode will include a fractal, and not a raid. The bosses within the raiding scenarios have been greatly improved in their mechanics and uniqueness. Quite recently, a new raid was introduced to the game known as the Mithrite Gambit. This raid takes players down into the mysterious vaults of the Mystic Forge, trying to win over the bet made between Zamros and Kadim. It appears that ArenaNet is not afraid to jump from setting to setting in their raids, and won't shy away from having a more light-hearted raid. For the setting of Fractals, while that can be a bit more difficult to pin down, all Fractals take place in the past, so it's always a surprise when they come out. The Fractals that have been introduced have been quite a joy to play through, primarily for the new / fleshed out stories and ascended rewards. Player vs. player has been experiencing a bit of a lull as of late. Automated tournaments have been continuing to go on, but it seems the player base is going down slightly. The player vs. player team has made an announcement that they have stuff in the works, including more 2v2 arenas and more back-end management / polish on existing maps. As for the World vs. World game mode, the devs are working on a new alliance system, which will replace the older system of using servers to arrange matches. Additionally, Siege equipment has received numerous touch-ups and fixes. Pathfire doesn't seem like an expansion focused on player vs. player or the World vs. World game modes, at least as of making this video. The ArenaNet developers are of course working hard to improve those existing game modes, but it would be quite interesting if there was a future expansion which also made some dedication to the competitive game types. Ultimately, the underlying cure of improving the population of the competitive game modes is of course bringing your friends into the game. So bring them! This might come off as a strange topic, but as a music fanatic, I am always on the lookout for new pieces of music to enter Guild Wars 2. Thankfully, the Path of Fire soundtrack did not disappoint. The complete soundtrack holds 40 pieces of music and compositions. Even Living World Season 4 has shipped with new pieces of music, and not just 1 or 2 pieces, but with quite a decent number, depending on the episode. And that, everyone, was pretty much my review for 1 year of Path of Fire. Just to quickly wrap up my ideas, I think the story for Path of Fire is holding up really well. The ArenaNet developers are progressing the story in very interesting ways, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you're new, definitely check out Living World Season 4. And overall, the game modes for raids and fractals are doing wonderfully, especially with this new raid. The community has gotten much more vigorous and much more hype. On the side of competitive game modes, that is one area of the game I would like to see expanded on a little bit, and I'm excited with the 2v2 arenas because I think those will offer really interesting means of content on YouTube and on Twitch, and maybe even smaller tournaments. Other than that, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe for more Guild Wars 2 videos, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone! Mwah. Down below, I have links to all things Guild Wars 2 for free-to-play players and expansion players alike. So if you or a loved one are interested in playing Guild Wars 2, check the links down below and begin your adventure in Tyria today. See you in game!